And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mozette, and here is your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mozette, and welcome to a special episode 518 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show as we recap the Redskins and the Cardinals game for your Seattle Seahawks. But remember to watch for falling yellow flag avalanches as we do this. So let's meet the posse for this episode. First, for merry old England, of course, the yin to my yang. It is Matt from merry old England. Hi, Matt.
Hello, Moses.
How are you, Matt?
I'm so depressed.
Oh, Matt, what's wrong?
Well, what are we going to do without him? I mean, it's the end of the universe, mate. I don't know how we're going to be able to keep on the whole season without CJ Prosize.
He was in for a play, guys.
I know.
Really, he's in for more than one.
I should laugh, but my goodness, that man.
Well, we'll address that why everybody's down, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Also from the state of Washington is, of course, our news hound, Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
Just fine. How about yourself?
A little sore. Those Thursday night games are rough, even on people watching.
Yeah, amen. Amen.
I got up at halftime and smacked my knee. It was bad.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Did the cat laugh at you?
No, I was at a different house. So.
No, that's good. At least that didn't happen. Are you feeling okay?
Well, yeah, better than everybody who was wearing green last night.
Your day-to-day, aren't we all? Someone else who's day-to-day from the state of Washington, that's Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. How are you feeling?
Not drunk. Not yet.
You can fix that.
That's a rough week. This is a rough week.
It's early.
People.
Yeah, it is. and last but not least, our man behind enemy lines, it's Statsman Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hello, everybody. And, well, you know, despite our own troubles, I live in an area where things are a little worse record-wise, and the 49ers have a new song. Turns out, Loser by Beck, kind of avant-garde. It's appropriate for the Bay Area, much more hip. And,
they are now the San Francisco Owen Niners, I believe. Are they not?
Yes.
That they are.
You know what? What's funny is that they can't even do this right because the Browns are right there with them, and the Giants only. I mean, they got to be pissed that they're not just running away with the number
Dang
0. But
we're not losing good enough.
You know, when you suck really bad, be sure to look to your left and your right, and Cleveland will be in one of those spots. You know, they're
Yep.
When you suck, look at Cleveland to your left or your right. That's good advice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
Also, someone that gives us good advice is, of course, our friend Michael Bolton. Michael Bolton.
Boys, let's get to it.
Wow, I didn't almost get it out there. Michael Bolton, thank you. The show is run just like a real NFL football game. 4 quarters and halftime. First quarter, we have news. Second quarter, we will recap quickly the loss against the Redskins from last Sunday. At halftime, it's the best Seahawk themed play-along game on the internet. 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
Yeah, Matt's on a roll, so we'll see if someone could dethrone the man from England. And quarter 3 will recap Thursday night's victory against the Arizona Cardinals in the desert. And in quarter 4, I will channel the future through my magical glowing spear, and we'll see if what I see in the future, the guys will tell me if they think that statement's going to be true or crap. So, before we start, we'd like to remind you to like, share, subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join us on the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Facebook group. We have a great game day thread on there, which is basically me just rambling. Twitter and email addresses there. Let us know our thoughts as well. Before we show starts, however, I do want to make a very public shout out.
Hey, can I do a shout out?
A shout out and a public plea to the wonderfully funny and talented wife of our punter, the lovely Miss Sarah Colonna. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced your last name. We haven't been formally introduced. So I'll call you Mrs. Ryan because you married John Ryan. Mrs. Ryan, we here at the 12-Man Fan Jam Show would absolutely love it if you would just consider wasting an hour or so of your time on a Friday evening on our quaint little show. So please consider stopping by and talking some football or whatever you want. We're open to anything. It's a good time and we'd love you to join us. So if anyone knows her or can get that to her, there's an open plea to Mrs. Wright because she's just absolutely hysterical. She was on Chelsea lately. She's a comedian in her own right and very funny, and I think she'd be a lot of fun to talk to. So there you go, an open plea to Mrs. John Ryan. All right, let's get to the first quarter end news. Yes, news from the NFL with our news hound Will. Brought to you by Thursday Night Football because the NFL needs to make more money. It's Thursday Night Football. All right, Will, what you got for us?
Well, Moses, one of the more indelible images from last Sunday's games was not the avalanche of flags in CenturyLink Field. It was the fight between A.J. Green and Jalen Ramsey in the Bengals-Jaguars game, which, if you haven't seen it, it was pretty incredible. After a play, Ramsey shoved Green to the ground. Green got back up, wrapped a chokehold around Ramsey, and suplexed him. Fights ensued. Both players got ejected, and it was a fun time was had by all. Ramsey later said that the incident was sparked because he, quote, "I called Green soft and weak," which he was. Green later said that he was not going to respond and that he was, in fact, moving forward. However, the league was not so magnanimous with Green in that they fined him $42,000 for his role in the incident. Ramsey did not get fined, although both players were ejected from the game, and neither player will be suspended. However, there are reports that Ramsey went looking for Green, trying to after the game. So... yeah, that was...
Is he going to take his lunch money?
Oh my goodness!
Green is $42,000 lighter in the pocketbook, so
that's
be a bad timing for it.
That's a hell of a lunch. I'll see you at the playground after school, dude.
Yeah, most of the time you see bad blood between players, they just sort of shake it off at the end of the game and go their separate ways. But this one could be the new Josh Norman. Odell Beckham Jr. Feud here.
It could be, and the takedown by A.J. Green was pretty epic. If you haven't seen it, oh my gosh!
I couldn't believe that the other guy got kicked out.
I know.
Like he pushed him, which is the end of. I mean, that happens all the time at the end of a football play. Yeah. But the dude got thrown out for getting taken down and put in a rear naked choke. That's what happened.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Like he didn't even
so
try
funny
to defend himself.
No, it was funny though. Just of all people, AJ Green, who I've always thought was one of the coolest guys in the NFL and most laid back and humble and blah blah blah. He'd had enough, I guess.
Kind of had shades of that Brian Blades thing that happened way back when
Brian Blades.
Yeah, he was getting he was kind of hunched over and he was getting punched and kicked and he got called for a penalty. It was a double penalty for a fight.
Yeah,
and that's the whole thing with Steve Largent. Yeah, that's the whole thing where Steve Largent had that hit the next play.
Yeah. Whenever I see a sort of team bundle like that, I still expect, and it doesn't matter what team it is, Marshawn Lynch to suddenly come trolling in and just hitting people.
That would have been
doesn't matter what team it is. Because they're all his cousins.
Well, he calls everybody cuz anyway.
He does. Yeah. He does. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, if you haven't seen that takedown, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we were, everybody was all hanging out before the game, and Red Zone was on, and that play came on. I think half the room just went, holy!
I did too. Lil Mo was like, what? I said, watch this. I hit rewind. He's like, is that AJ Green? I'm like, yeah. He goes, what's his problem? I said, I don't know.
His problem was he's trying to punch a dude in the face that was wearing a freaking helmet.
And he missed. How do you miss? How do you miss a man's head when he's wearing a helmet that big and you still miss?
Well, considering what would happen to your hand if you don't, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Dumbass.
Well, yeah, when I saw it, I thought, well, it's the first time the Bengals have been on top all season. So there was there was one silver lining, and I mean, wow. I mean, $42,000, and he doesn't. How does he not get suspended for a game for throwing punches? Like, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, people are waiting for the league to suspend him at least a game, and he gets nothing. And $42,000 is that's like who mentioned club? That's like the days of Andre Rison. That's like the Bad New Rison buffet at the strip club. $42,000, Cristal champagne and whatever else. But I can't believe he didn't get suspended.
Family, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, and Ramsey, they treated him okay. Well, actually, he should have been able to play in that game. But Big Green, I don't know how does he not get a game? I mean, that's just insane. But
he just must have got really sensitive. Very strange.
Oh, the other thing too, like they have that court, right? Does it like? I wonder if they have the courtroom in the stadium like they do in Philly.
Oh
They have, like a holding cell.
There's like five drunk guys there, and all of a sudden, like AJ Green shows up in full uniform.
Well, what'd be great is like when AJ Green gets taken there, and like Pac-Man Jones and Perfect or whatever the other guys, Perfect, Defect, are already there waiting.
Dun dun.
Yeah, they're all chained together singing "Hard Luck Life." It's a hard luck life.
The brave men and women of the special NFL unit handle these kinds of cases. These are their stories.
Yeah, they like do-si-do between each other with shackles on.
Law and Order. NFL.
That was awesome.
I like it.
Law and Order NFL. I like it.
Yeah, the Bengals, a musical. It's like.
Oh, nice. Will, what else you got, man?
Well, as everybody knows, there was a lot of depressing injury news coming from last night's game. So
Yeah, a little bit.
I thought I'd cheer things up with a little bit of lighthearted injury news, not involving Seattle. Lions punter Sam Martin actually missed 6 games this season before coming back and playing in the last couple of games, and he had an interesting injury there. Apparently, shortly before training camp, Martin was taking a vacation in the Bahamas and dropped a conch shell on his foot, injuring his ankle to the point where he could not participate in training camp and had to go on the PUP list to start the regular season and miss 6 games.
Oh my goodness.
Martin joked earlier about all the things he wasn't doing to cause the injury, including skateboarding, cliff diving, and he said he couldn't blame his dog for it, saying it was, quote, just a freak accident. So,
Who was
That's
that?
awesome.
Who was that tripped on the dog and was out? Was a panther? I want to say.
I think he said he tripped over him and fell down the stairs.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember the name
and
either.
while he's talking, the dog's in the behind him going, "Yeah, you better tell him that's what happened."
Still, the best punter injury ever is the Jaguars guy that took the axe from the stump in the locker room that said "keep chopping wood," and he took a swing and he hit his own leg.
Yeah,
that was awesome. And
it
that
bounced
same
off
guy,
the wood and hit him in the leg. Yes.
That same guy, either before or after that, was having a little dinner party and he spilled the fondue bowl like on his leg.
Yes.
Or like he burned his leg. And I'm like, this guy's awesome. Like, this
like
is
the Leon Lett of injuries.
This is insurance fraud at its best.
Their legs are the only thing they need. And
right?
I think they would take better care of them.
Yeah.
Well, I can remember the weirdest accident, the weirdest injury I ever heard was, if you remember baseball, you remember Carney Lansford. That'll take you back a few. Carney Lansford got hurt in a snowmobile accident. It's like, what the heck, snowmobile? And he was out, like it ended his career.
Oh, wow.
Like, a snowmobile accident. That's unusual. You don't see that a lot on the injury report.
Remember Sosa broke his ribs sneezing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy one.
That's a roid sneeze. The hell?
Yeah, it is.
Injuries can be funny.
Yeah.
Some.
It's funny
They
how
happen to other people and other teams.
Yeah.
I can say like even on non-sport ones, but if you want again to look at an injury, it's just a funny one that it's not funny, he nearly died, but there was a singer. there was a singer. This is true though. Hold on, there's an English singer. He was called Brian Harvey, and he was part of a boy band called E17, and he ran himself over in his own car whilst he was driving it.
What?
Whoa.
An absolutely true story. He opened his car door in order to see if he was parking better by the curb or something, and he had an automatic, and somehow he managed to fall out of the car with his foot on the accelerator and ran himself over whilst driving his own car. Brian Harvey, check it out. It's hysterical.
That's a yikes.
Because everyone thought, no one thought it was real. When they published it in the newspapers, we were like, that's a load of old todd. Nobody can run themselves over in their own bloody car whilst they're driving it. Nope, he managed it.
I think my favorite of those types of stories is one of the guys who helped invent the Segway was riding one and it malfunctioned and it drove him off a cliff.
Oh, wow.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
If you want to see another injury waiting to happen, go and have a look at Johnny Manziel recently as well. He's had some photos released of him and his girlfriend on the beach. Let's just say he's not game ready any longer.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
He's going to fail a few physicals.
Well, all that beer does add up after a while.
He turned into Joey Buttafuoco.
Ooh.
Oh.
Or Val Kilmer.
Yeah, that's true. Well, hey, enough of overweight, washed up, has-been actors and entertainers. Will, thank you for the news.
You're welcome, Moses.
That's the end of the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Coming up on a special double recap edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam show, halftime trivia, Cardinal recapping. But next, we're going to take a quick look back at Sunday's loss against the Redskins right after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Welcome to the second quarter of episode 518 of your 12-Man Fan Jam show. In this quarter, we're going to take a look at the Seahawks-Redskins game from last Sunday. Of course, the Seahawks lost to the Redskins 17-14. There were a lot of finger-pointing going on. There was a lot of finger-pointing going on after this game. We had several factors that could have resulted in a disappointing loss at home. For example, there was a kicker missing 3 field goals.
No.
Okay. There were also 16 penalties. There were also, 2 turnovers. There was a lot of factors, but the biggest one that kept coming up before Thursday's game in Arizona was poor Blair Walsh. And I say poor Blair Walsh because, there was a time when our own Hauschka, yes, your own beloved Hauschka, missed 3 field goals in the game too. So he was not immune to such a game. So what I'm going to ask, I'm going to roundtable to get this thing going because I know we really don't want to talk about this game very much anyway. And I'll start with Will. I want you to put a percentage of blame of this loss on Blair Walsh's shoulders. How much of this game, Will, is Blair Walsh's fault?
Without going over.
Without going over.
Oh, Price is right him later.
I'd say 0% on his shoulders, huh? It's more on his leg.
No!
Well, personally, Moses, I'm just going to assign it all here.
Okay.
I put 33% on the offense, 33% on the defense, and since Walsh missed 3 kicks, I'm going to give him the odd percent and say 34% on Walsh. Because every single unit on this squad is responsible for doing something that helped cost us this game.
I like it.
Offense
like
screwed
it.
up,
You know what?
defense screwed up, special teams screwed up.
agree.
Nobody gets off.
There were, from what they said, there wasn't anything wrong with the snap. There was nothing wrong with the hold. It was everything went. So, of that part, I think, yeah, I kind of like that. Mark, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Will, and I posted that somewhere in the Seahawk forum. That it just was one of those. It was just a shit show. You can bleep that out.
It was.
A bleep show?
This reminded me of a game. This reminded me of like a game the Seahawks would have like 15 years ago, just before we started to get good. Like,
yes.
We're so close to winning this thing, and then oh no, and it's the same old Seahawks and that old kind of weirdness, and then a year later, or whatever it was at the time, we were in the playoffs, however many years in a row. But I just have flashbacks to those old charming Seahawks of blowing a game and having a lot to do with it.
I agree.
And then we'll get to the other one. as a fan, I actually, it's the first time I actually enjoyed Thursday night because I was anxious to see how they would do 4 days later, but we'll get into that later.
Right. Matt? What are your
Hello.
thoughts? Aye.
Now, when you say poor Blair Walsh, do you mean $14 million, including $5.25 million guaranteed poor Blair Walsh?
That's the one.
With the job of just kicking a ball?
That's the one.
Yeah. I'm glad we've clarified that. I'm prepared to put. I'll split it. I'm not going to give it all to Blair Walsh because I don't think he can handle the pressure if I gave him all of it. So I'm going to give him.
Nice.
Brutal.
I'm going to give him
Nice.
50% of it. I'll give him 50% of it because I'm very happy to give players. Sometimes bad things happen. We've had some discussions previously about Jimmy Graham when some bad things happen. So sometimes you just have to give them a little bit of credit. So I'm quite happy for a kicker to miss a field goal. Haven't got a problem with that. If you miss 2 field goals, I start to feel a little bit nervous. If you miss 3 field goals, I'm almost ready to fly out and kick the ball myself. Because you're paid to do one job, to be frankly honest. And I sort of need you to do that. And had he have made 2 of them, I give him the one that he missed. I haven't got a problem with that. Had he made 2 of them, we would be having a slightly different conversation right now. But I am equally going to give 50% as well, really, to the rest of the whole team. Because you cannot give away 16 penalties for 138 yards in a game. Yeah. You just can't. I know we're the most penalised team in the history of football, probably ever, right now. But that number, you can't give him a field and a half, Moses. You just can't.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'll give 50%. I'll give it 50% to the orc, and I'll give 50% to everybody else.
To the orc.
And the kid just makes me nervous. The kid makes me nervous.
Well, we'll talk about the Redskins game, and you all can suck it later. Dustin.
Yeah.
What's your thought about who's to blame for losing to the Redskins?
I got to break it up a little bit differently than the other guys did because I give Walsh 25% of that. I'm going to give the defense 25%, offense 25%, and the coaching staff 25% because you cannot allow your team to play that undisciplined. You have to find a way to make them play more disciplined than they have been. 16 penalties is just not acceptable. That was it. Then they should have got them prepared. That was a team that they literally had linemen coming in like, "Hey, my name's Steve. I'll be blocking for you today."
Right.
And how do you not?
They all had the little name tags.
I know. God, that drove me nuts.
I don't understand how the hell that happens when they're that hurt, they're that injured, and they come in there and beat you in your own home.
That hurt.
Yeah. We should have had like 11 sacks in that game.
But do you think, and I, Dustin, I don't want to interrupt you, but that whole discipline thing, do you think a little bit that comes down to this whole, we do have a fun practice session, the whole Techno Thursdays and stuff. Is it disciplined enough?
It's not looking like it is this year.
Because the next game we had 12 penalties for 108 yards. I know we'll come on to that in a second, but the one before that we had 10 penalties for 120 yards. 15
I don't think the penalties are being
110 yards.
It's all lip service by Carroll.
But I don't think it's because of Techno Thursdays. I think they haven't addressed. I don't think the penalties are because they're having fun. I think you can still do Techno Thursdays and still stress and be strict about the penalties.
It's they're playing undisciplined. Yeah, they got to find a way. They got to find a happy medium.
That's undisciplined, but I think you still have Techno Thursdays. But then you can still be disciplined on the field. I mean, that's just mental lapses, a lot of those.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
It's a really consistent set of mental lapses, though, Dennis.
And it's the same thing over and over. And what is being done about it is if you see the same thing over and over, then what's changing?
Yeah, I mean, some of it, honestly, is lack of talent. Nadea Bushi gets called all the time. Yeah. And that's because he's not that good. I mean, not moving his feet, technique-wise is poor. And some of them are just stupid mistakes. Mm-hmm. The kind of stuff that NFL players should know better than to do. And that's more so. I'm thinking of one play in particular, but that was in last night's game. Yeah. But it's just stupid penalties. So a certain amount of that blame has to go on the coaches. It's not just the guys on the field.
Oh, yeah. We've always had a fair number of penalties since Carroll's been here, but in the Super Bowl year, it was the penalties we would get are because we'd be playing overly aggressive. Maybe we get a 15-yard penalty for unnecessary roughness, or defensive pass interference because Brandon Browner went up and pulled an AJ Green on some unsuspecting receiver.
Right.
But the penalties that are plaguing us this year and in the last couple of years really have been of the mental error variety.
Yeah.
And those are the ones you can't tolerate because those are the ones that you shouldn't have to tolerate.
Right.
Well, let me give you this one. We've got offensive holding. There were 16 so far, 2017. 16 offensive holding penalties against us, 15 false start penalties against us. You can't. I mean, false start. I mean, okay. I know sometimes they catch you with a hard counter occasionally, but just wait till the damn ball is snapped. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Just wait.
and it's not just like linemen either. I mean, Jimmy Graham got called for a false start penalty earlier this year. Justin Brick got called for a false start penalty.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson got called for a false start.
I've never seen that before in my life.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a team effort, that's for sure.
It's definitely a concern moving forward, without question.
Yeah.
Without question. Any final thoughts about the Redskins game?
I was hoping you weren't going to say, anyone got anything positive for the Redskins game? Nope.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over. Yeah.
Nope.
Well, 150 yards rushing in that game. So
yeah, but...
And 70 of it was Russell, but 70 of it was not. And in fact, you take Russell out of it, it was like 17 carries for 79 yards. Not bad against the Redskins.
Is Rawls, is he healthy? Or I mean, it just seems, I don't know what happened to him. If he's healthy, his attitude, I mean, it just seems like it just seems weird. He hasn't stepped up, and I don't know what's going on there. But
well, I think he's just impatient. I don't think he's good at spotting. I think he runs into his own blockers. I just don't think he's disciplined enough.
I think he's trying too hard.
To
break every run for a big gain.
I think so too.
Yeah, and not only that, but he's not smart about it. Like I said, running past his blockers. There was a play last night where I'm watching him, and I'm like, the hole's right there, dude. Stop trying to dance sideways because there's pursuit from the backside. And sure enough, he got hit in the backfield because he's over there dancing instead of going north-south. So.
Why is that? I think that's not the first time that phrase has been used in Dustin's household. The hole's right there, dude.
Don't get caught from the backside.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Well, the other, who is kind of fun, though, is McKissick. Man, that guy is fast.
I love watching him.
God.
Yeah.
I really enjoy McKissick. He's the guy's.
I enjoy him, but I don't enjoy him when they run him up the middle.
No, that's not a good way for him to go.
You're not really using him the right way here.
When he gets going, those dreadlocks are like a cape. It's like Super McKissick. It's like Superman.
He is.
And the guy is so fast. I mean, I'd like to, he's a nice little player that's, maybe is going to get more time with all the injuries. And who is it, CJ? We have some guy named CJ. Anyway.
Occasionally.
Allegedly.
Occasionally. One play at a time. We have somebody called CJ, one player at a time.
McKissick is our fun-sized running back.
Yeah.
McNuggets, I call him. Don't know
Yeah, you do.
He could be a Sproles for us if they figure out how to use him. He could definitely be a Sproles for us.
And I think they're starting to get more comfortable with
him.
Well,
I'd like to see him in a jet type, what they call it, a jet sweep type thing, where they
just
shoot past. Because I think he'd be amazing at that.
Yeah, I think they probably will start him doing it.
And actually, one running play up the middle where I think he could do well is, and we haven't really done this much of late, just a draw play every now and then.
Yeah.
Get four receivers out there, Russell in the shotgun. Let they're going to rush the passer anyway. Yeah. Let him jailbreak. Give it to McKissick.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, that thought. Well, I'm going to get Pete Carroll on the phone now. I'm going to suggest him some of those things because.
Good
on speed though.
Hey, while you get him on the phone, I'm going to go over the scores for that game. Can we do that?
Okay.
You can
do that.
All right, let's go ahead and look at our posse prediction challenge from the Redskins game. First on the scores, Mike was the closest. Of course, nobody had the Seahawks losing. So, prognostications, 3 points to Little Mo because Freeney got a sack. Jose said Seattle would have more yards rushing than Washington, and we did. And 3 points to Mike for having over 100 Seahawk rushing yards. The game ball, nobody worth it. Sorry, no game ball. Lacey, Wilson, Graham, Brown, Chancellor, Clark, Lockett were my options. There's no game ball there for that game. The over-under was under a point to Jose, Mark Ty Turner, Matt, Will. So after the Redskins game, the individual scores for that game, Mike 4, Jose 4, Little Mo 3, Mark Ty Turner, Matt, and Will at 1. Scores overall after the Redskins game, Mike Pascal at 28, Jose at 23, Dustin and Moses at 17, Will at 16, Tom at 12, Matt at 12, Statsman Mark at 9, Mark Ty Turner at 8, Little Mo at 7, and after the Redskins game, the team scores, Team 12, 78, Team Posse, 71. They caught us. They caught us, guys.
Not over yet.
No, it's not. Besides, now we have halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime.
Coming up, so much more show. Will the Seahawks win Sunday? Wait a minute. They don't play Sunday. Will the Seahawks not lose Sunday? Let's say that.
Yes.
Yes. Much, 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 much more ahead. All these answers and more just around the corner. But first is another edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. Coming up next.
Hi, I'm Rosette, and you're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia
of the world.
The trivia game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Will, Matt, Mark, and Justin, and here are the rules. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-Man Fan Jam Show Trivia Champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my 2 charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that but once and only once during the entire game show and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. All right, you gentlemen know the rules. No Googling, no phone a friend, and no wagering. We have 2 sets of 4 questions. There's a question each round. It's basically about Thursday Night Football, the Redskins, Washington, Arizona, and the Cardinals. This is a mismatch of everything. So get ready because a couple of these are seriously weird questions. All right.
I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, Matt is our returning champion, so Matt gets to pick first. Matt?
1.
Matt picks 1. Dustin?
Last, whichever one's last.
All right, that would be number 4. Dustin.
He's so bad at math.
There's no math. Actually, there's some math.
Oh,
Mark,
no.
2 or 3?
We'll go number 3.
Number 3, and then that would bring Will to
Will's number 2.
All right, Will's number 2. Matt.
Yes.
Yours is a football question.
Woohoo!
Who did the Seattle Seahawks play in their very first Thursday night football game? Was it the 49ers, the Rams, or the Cardinals? Dance! Who did the Seahawks play in their first Thursday night football game? 49ers, Rams, Cardinals.
I'll go Rams. I don't know.
Rams. Little Mo at Cardinals. And Mosette went 49ers. You went Rams. It was
Niners.
The 49ers.
Yeah, it was the Niners.
Yeah. You get the dog food instead of the Buick. All right. Will. In last year's
Can I get
Thursday
cat food
night...
instead of dog food?
Yeah. Very nice. In last year's Thursday night football win against the Rams, how many times was Russell Wilson sacked? 1, 2, or 3?
I'm going to stick with 2.
You'll stick with 2? Like you have a 2 sitting there and you're just going to stick with it?
Well, I'm in the number 2 spot, so
nice.
Figured I'd run with it.
Well done. Little Mo and Mosette also said 2. And you said 2. You're all right. It was 2.
Yay!
Yay! was
Too many.
Mark.
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh.
That's not good.
You do not have a football question.
Wait a minute, is this a Bob Crane question? Because I might get that right.
No, this is a question about Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Hey, Mark. How many bathrooms does the White House have?
Oh, no.
35, 40, or 45? How many bathrooms in the White House? 35, 40, or 45?
Seriously?
It doesn't look like that big of a place.
And you know he's tweeted from every single one of them.
Wow.
How many bathrooms? 35, 40, 45.
Well, let's see. When you're passing that many policies through your system, okay, 35, 40. Holy cow! You got to be. What do the kids say? I never used.
What do the kids say? It goes to the kids. Little Mo and Mosette said 45.
I'm gonna go with the kids because they probably teach this in school. So I'll go 45.
Belief in our education system.
Yes.
I believe our education system, and that those two young, darling Seahawk children would know that there are 45 bathrooms in the White House. No, there are 35! Everything's a sham.
35 bathrooms in the White House.
Bathrooms. You know he's
I wonder if any of them have a sign like George Washington shat here or something. And yes, I know it was built after he was president.
That's
okay.
Nice. All right. That's nice. Dustin.
Yeah.
Last year's Thursday Night Football game against the Rams, how many times was Jared Goff sacked? 3, 4, or 5?
I don't know. I remember he left the game because Sherman gave him a concussion.
Oh, yes, he did.
That was awesome.
That was great.
So,
lesson learned, young man.
I'll say 3 because I don't know what quarter it was when he got knocked out of the game.
Well, it was later, I think. But anyway, 3. Mosette said 3. Little Mo said 5. It was 4. It was 4. So, let's see where we're at here. Well, Will, 5, 6, 7, or 8. You're the only one that scored a point that round.
I will go 7.
Matt?
I'll go 8.
Mark?
Oh, boy. 5.
All right.
I'm just worried about bathrooms now.
Well, just to say,
all 35 of them.
Can I just say that?
Mark, you do
hang on,
not
Moses.
have to
Can I
worry
just
about
say that Buckingham Palace has 78 toilets? So catch up, America.
Well, Mark, yours is an Arizona question.
Okay.
How many miles of trails are in the Grand Canyon?
Oh, my God.
You gotta be kidding me. You got to be
200, 300, or 400?
It's a trick question.
How many miles of trails are in the Grand Canyon? 200, 300, or 400?
The answer is 0 bathrooms.
Hey, a shout out to Jimmy Foreman. Jimmy will be on all these trails. I have no doubt.
Oh, my goodness.
Probably already has.
Yeah, I bet he has.
Wow. I'm already
you,
challenged enough in trivia, and I get, 200, 300, or 400.
Miles of trails in the Grand Canyon, which is located in Arizona.
Oh, my God. 300.
300.
Yep.
This is
Little Mo and Mosette said 300. So you can believe in education system again.
Woohoo!
No, you can't! It's 400!
Oh.
It's a scam!
The scam.
It's a scam.
Well.
And the rest of you can take great comfort in knowing you will have football questions.
We've got football questions.
Woo!
Dustin.
Yeah.
In the Seahawks' first Thursday night football game, which we mentioned was against the 49ers, who caught the only touchdown pass for the Seahawks? Was it Sean Alexander, DJ Hackett, or Jeremy Stevens? There's some touchdown catching
some
there.
names.
Wow.
Alexander, Hackett, or Stevens, who caught the only touchdown pass for the Seahawks that game?
Oh, and I'll say DJ Hackett. I have no idea.
I'll say DJ Hackett. Lil Mo and Mosette both said DJ Hackett. That hasn't been good luck recently, has it?
Yeah, the kids have been cold as anybody right now, Dennis. I hate to break it to you.
Well, Mark, I hate to break it to you. They're still cold. It was Jeremy Stevens.
Oh.
Mr. Hope Solo.
Oh, these kids. Who's teaching these kids things?
I don't know. Will.
Yes, sir.
Last time the Seahawks won against the Cardinals in Arizona Thursday night before last night. How many times did they sack Carson Palmer in that game? 5, 6, or 7? That would have been a few years ago.
Yep, 2013.
Yeah, 2013. How many times did they sack Carson Palmer? 5, 6, or 7?
Oh gosh, it's either 6 or 7. I'm gonna go 7.
So go 7. Mosette went with 5. Little Mo went with 7. That has not been good recently. To go with the kids. And Little Mo said 7. You said 7. But it's good here.
Yay!
All right, Matt.
Yes.
You have a football question. It is also about that same game that I just talked about. The last time the Seahawks went down to Arizona on Thursday night and won before this year in 2013. Who had the most receiving yards for the Seahawks that night? Zach Miller, Sidney Rice, or Golden Tate?
Ooh. I'll ask the kids because I haven't asked the kids.
Okay. Little Mo said Sidney Rice. Mosette said Golden Tate. I will tell you this, it's pretty close on all three.
Ooh. Give me all three again.
Zach Miller, Sidney Rice, Golden Tate.
They said
Little Mo said
Zach
Rice.
Miller. I'll go Miller. I'll go tight end.
You'll go tight end.
Yeah.
What else is new?
What else is new?
He'll go Zach Miller. All right. It was Golden Tate. So here's what we got going on. Because this is very exciting because Will has 2 points and everyone else has 0. So if someone
Which means
catches
we're almost
him,
certain to go to sudden death.
So we might have overtime for the first time in a while. If the final question
Think
is...
positive, Will. Think positive. You can take all of it in one big sweep.
So, Will?
We probably won't.
The pressure's on, Will, because it's time for the final question. All right. Final question is the number high-low. Closest without going over gets the 2 points. And if they tie Will, then we move on to overtime. And I don't have a theme song. All right. The order will be this. It will go Mark. It will go Dustin. It will go Matt. And then it will go Will. Okay, gentlemen. Here we go. The question is this, Mark. How many total yards did the Seahawks and 49ers have combined in their first Thursday night football game? How many total yards from both teams combined on that first Thursday night football game? Seahawks and 49ers.
Am I able to know which season was that mentioned earlier?
It's not mentioned. I don't have
10, 12 years ago, I think, probably. Or no.
I want to say around between 2005 and 2010, but I don't know
2006.
exactly. 2006? Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Huh. I mean, Jesus.
No, just Moses.
Well,
yes.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I was blacking out still that year.
But you got to combine. You got to combine the two teams. So
right. I got total yards. Okay. Oh boy, this
Dustin's
sounds...
doing math even as we speak.
It's not even worth the attempt.
It's not even worth the attempt, no.
I'm going to say this was just like, for whatever reason, this was just a crap game, and I'm going to say 410.
410.
410.
Dustin.
Yeah.
How many yards Seahawks and 49ers have in the first Thursday night football game combined?
502.
502.
Ooh.
Matt.
Yes.
410 and 502.
I'll go 492.
492. Will. 410, 492, 502. How many total yards the Seahawks and the 49ers have combined in the Seahawks' first Thursday night football game?
I will go... Oh, Price is right. I'll go 503.
Price is right, some. 503. All right. The actual total of combined yards between the Seahawks and the 49ers in that first Thursday night game for the Seahawks is 690.
Ooh. Will takes it all.
Somebody's got the touch, and it's Will.
And I wasn't even wearing a hat.
Will.
Or anything else.
You weren't supposed to tell people that.
Just you left your webcam on.
Amazing, Will.
Oh, crap.
Just amazing. Dominant from beginning to end.
I could barely hear his song. Which is it?
Got the touch.
It's You Got the Touch, baby. Yeah, feel it.
I'm just basking.
Is that from 1980 something?
Yes.
He's a winner. Congratulations, Will.
Thank you, sir.
Well played, sir.
Well played. And it was well played. Another well played. Crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping, award-winning edition of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia.
Of the world.
Of the world.
Oh, yeah, of the world.
We'll be back with the second half of this show right after this. Take us out, Stan Bush. You got the touch, buddy.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Straight up now, shoot me.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Yes, welcome to the third quarter of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Hey, you! Yes, you. Throwing another yellow flag. Join us on the Facebook page at 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Email us. Tweet us at Seahawk Positivity. Make us all part of your Seahawk fix. Do it now before another Seahawk penalty. Oh, no, too late. Oh, 5 yards again. All right. Well, listen, we talked about the Redskins game. Now, let's talk about what happened Thursday night in Arizona. Seahawks win 22-16. I know everyone wants to get to a really sad topic, and I know what everyone's thinking. We're going to hold off on that. I realize the finale of American Horror Story Cult is Tuesday, but we will get through it together, okay? So in the meantime, let's talk some football. Dustin, your thoughts about the Cardinals game?
I don't know. It had its ups and downs, obviously. It was frustrating a lot with offense in the first half, and I kept thinking that we need to stop going for these deep balls, just find something to get in a rhythm.
Yes.
Like, have Russell drop back maybe 3 steps and get rid of the ball quick. Little quick, easy passes, 5 yards here, 3 yards there, 7 yards there. Just, get in a rhythm. And then you get into rhythm and everything loosens up and you get the ball moving. But that wasn't happening for a while and I was frustrated. But, overall, they came up and they made plays enough to win, obviously. And that was good, but... Yeah, it was one of those wins that you're glad you won, but you don't walk away with a good feeling.
Dustin likes it quick and easy.
Mm.
Yeah, you got to build a rhythm.
Who's there, dude?
That's too bad because Whitesnake always liked it slow and easy, but that's another. Man, that's a song right there. All right, little 80s music reference for you guys. Hey, Dustin. Hey, Matt, how did you feel about the game?
Well, apart from being confused for Dustin, I felt fine up until that point.
Same size. No,
always doing that. I don't know. What did I think about the game? I thought, like Dustin, I think we lacked that sort of cohesive. It was always awful when you think of you think of a Seahawks game and you want it to be dominating. You hope that they've come off a loss and they're okay. Yeah, it's been a short 4-day break or whatever, but you hope that they've come off that loss and that's given them a good smack in the face and they're going to come out and they're just going to pummel them into the dirt. That didn't happen. And I was disappointed it didn't happen. It was good to see, with Rawls getting off some good runs. Obviously, the miracle Houdini throw play, which I was sitting there actually expecting a massive sack, which is what I was expecting, which is something that I'm normally expecting, but this was different. And I was waiting. I was waiting for Russell to lose an enormous chunk of yardage, and I was also expecting Blair Walsh to miss 2 field goals, which he didn't. But it was one of those games where you wanted them to be better, really. We won, and Dustin's absolutely right. We won, and it's a divisional road game, and everyone should be very happy. But even I was unconvinced by that win.
Yeah, and the golden rule of quarterbacking has always been never turn your back because you're going the other direction, because you're going to lose like another 10 yards when you do. But we've just got somebody special.
But it's penalty, but it's penalties again. It's the same crap that we keep seeing week after week with those silly penalties. So that also still keeps popping up. So yeah, we win a game. It's a divisional road game. Everyone should cheer, but it's just unconvincing.
Well, and I think at 1.6 first downs were on third down penalties on the defense for Seattle.
We gave them 6 first downs.
Yeah. That's just. I mean, come on. And really, let's be honest, Stanton looked like Stanton.
Yep.
So they never should have been in that game, and yet here we shut down. They shut down Peterson like I thought they would, to be honest. And they made him one-dimensional, which is what we wanted. And even though defensively they didn't sack him, they did get to Stanton, knock him down.
But isn't that strange? You think anyone was able to switch things up, it would be Peterson, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would. So, but anyway, they did knock him down and change the way he threw the ball, and yet it was it was really a 12-point game, that last touchdown. Will, what are your thoughts?
Well, I find it ironic that a couple of weeks ago we were complaining about how we couldn't get the ball to Jimmy Graham in the red zone, and now he's the only guy who can do anything in the red zone anymore.
Yeah, how about that?
How
about
that?
It's
what Matt and Dustin were saying. I mean, this team is just so erratic. I mean, they can look absolutely brilliant 1 minute and just completely befuddling the next.
Yes.
I was impressed with some of our younger guys. Shaquille Griffin had a good game. Deion Jordan, that one sack was about as impressive as I've ever seen.
I had to rewind it to watch it again. I'm like, did I just see what I saw?
It was great to see him, and he had a good game pretty much every time he was in. He was being disruptive, so that was very positive to see.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Jeremy Lane failed that physical with the Texans. We're going to need him.
Apparently we are. Yeah, and that kind of is the next thing. But Mark, your thoughts on the game?
It's a road win, division win. We needed it. Those uniforms, I don't know. It's it's like after I watched that, whenever they wear their underoos, when I look to the sky, there's a burn mark in my pupils. I can't see, but we got the win, and Jimmy Graham. I mean, that was great to see. I mean, he really is he's a man among boys. I mean, like after he catches, he's just taking candy from a baby, leaning over him, going ha ha.
Exactly, he is,
and I love that. And I did like McKissick. I mentioned earlier, and that he could be an option. I still would love to see Rawls. I wish that they would just start Rawls, and Rawls was focused enough to have like 20 carries if the game allowed it. I'd love to just see if we even want to keep this guy, or if the whole bunch are just gone, except for maybe Carson. But the game again, it just takes us longer to put certain teams away, compared to the past. And but we got the win, and we're still relevant. The entire league is kind of struggling. I mean, the NFC is. I mean, even Philadelphia is awesome, but this is where playoff experience, I think, could matter. Because that's a young group, and we've experienced everything playoff wise, but that's a ways down the road.
Well, and that's a great point, because right now the teams that are the elite of the NFC would be your Rams and your Eagles, and they certainly deserve it. But it's November. I always think of that Chicago Bear team that throttled us, and then that was the whole crown 'em speech from the Cardinals. Go ahead and crown them, and it was October and November, and the Bears were 8-0, and there was talk about them going undefeated, and they were rolling over everybody, and I don't even think they won a playoff game. And so they're hot right now, but it'll be interesting to see how and I'm not saying, and both those teams look pretty good. I'm not saying either one of them is going to falter, but let's see where they're at in January, because that's when it starts to count. And like you said, these teams with the experience, that means something in the playoffs. So we'll see what a Jared Goff can do if they make the playoffs, if what a Wentz can do in the playoffs, and that's going to be a whole different animal. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep playing at this level all the way to the playoffs. I'm surprised none of you mentioned Blair Walsh's perfect kicks in every way.
To be fair, those both split the uprights, so the guy did his job
right
this week.
Let me tell you the truth though. I only got to watch the highlights because it was on very late here for me, and it's a work day, so I didn't actually get to watch the game live. And even on the highlights, I was still nervous, and I even knew what the result was going to be, and I was still nervous.
That's funny.
Well,
I think my favorite moment of the game was Jimmy Graham big brothering that dude in the end zone.
Oh, he did it twice, really.
Yeah, well, his second touchdown, he catches it, bodies the guy out, jumps him, catches it, has the dude on his back, and he just like holds the ball up in the air,
Holds the ball up,
like
yeah.
a total big brother
like
move.
Mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That
was
cracked me
pretty
up.
awesome. We'll see more of that. I think we're going to see more of that finally. Looked pretty good. And of course, okay, so the elephant in the room. A lot of injuries in that game. None more devastating than
CJ Precise, yeah.
Yeah, CJ. No, none more. Obviously, Richard Sherman has been an absolute rock on this team, and we all, of course, absolutely wish him a speedy and healthy recovery. We're a little spoiled because we haven't gone through this before. Really, he got hurt in the Super Bowl, but at that point it was already decided pretty much. So, I mean, Dustin, what do we do here? I mean, what's next for this team as they move forward without Richard Sherman?
I think they're gonna have to change their defense a little bit. You notice they were doing that here and there in the game itself too. I remember looking up and I was like, oh wow, they have Cam Chancellor playing free safety right now. That's interesting. And they're just gonna have to scheme wise change a little bit.
Yeah.
When Earl gets out there, hopefully that's going to help make up for some of it. But like I said, just the way they do things is going to have to change some. Because the reason the defense works is because the players they have are able to do certain things. And when you take one of those pieces away, it changes the dynamic of what it is that they're trying to do.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Of course.
They got to sign somebody else, I'm assuming. Byron Maxwell's out there, so we'll see if he comes back.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see.
Two reasons I say no. One is the cap. And
he was cut. He's going to be a league. He'll probably play for league minimum.
Well, okay. Number two is this. I think his best days are long behind him. It was 2012 and 13 when he was here. That was 5 years ago. He can go. But I know some of you. So, Will, I know you're kind of thinking about Byron Maxwell. So convince me, because I am thoroughly against this move. But tell me why.
Well, it's an option. I mean, I think this team has gotten so used to having Richard Sherman there that they haven't had to consider any alternatives.
Right.
And, Maxwell's just one of them. I mean, it's one that I think they'll look at because pretty much his only success has been in this system. But
yeah, true.
Getting, as far as the cornerback position, once Earl Thomas comes back from injury, that's going to help. I think one thing that would really help is our defensive line needs to take the next step forward and be the consistently disruptive force that we expected them to be, and that they have been at times, and other times not so much.
Yes.
With some of the other injuries in this game, one I'm kind of concerned about is Jaron Reed, because he's really been coming on this year, both as a pass rusher but as a run stuffer. And he's got a hamstring, and those can kind of linger. So I hope he doesn't miss any substantial time.
I agree. Mark, Byron Maxwell, yes, no?
Well, the one question I have for you, Dennis, is where the hell is Kelly Jennings?
Josh Wilson, man. Wilson.
We need to bring back Slim.
Slim.
Bust open a Slim Jam in the Legion of Boom.
Hey, he had 2 degrees from the University of Miami. The guy's smart. Kelly Jennings.
Neither one of them were in football.
I have never seen anybody with better cover skills and worse ball skills in my life. I mean, the guy would be in the receiver's hip pocket, and he would just completely miss the ball. The guy would make the catch. It's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, boy. So Maxwell is an option. Wait, did we sign... Now I'm missing this completely.
It's throwing you off.
So Maxwell, is he in town? Are we talking to this guy?
No,
I've not seen.
Just speculation.
It's speculation.
He missed the plane.
He missed. Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully. I gave him the wrong ticket. Oh, I'm sorry, Maxwell. You're down to gate B.
Oh man. Well. After Sherman was out, who was in there after Sherman?
Lane.
Jeremy Lane.
What's Lane? Okay, Lane, and then
But then Shed's coming back.
Okay? Is he? He has yet to practice.
But eventually, I'm hoping that eventually that's going to happen.
Moses, can I tell you, I've had a bit of a nightmare. I had a session after, then I had sweats pouring and everything, and the visions were coming in my head, and I was sleeping, and I suddenly sort of bolt upright in bed and just screamed "No!" at the top of my voice because it was Harold Simon.
No!
No.
And
that's one thing we can all agree on.
The name just kept being said over and over again, and I thought it's just the sort of bum move that some idiot in Seattle will make, and it'll happen.
Matt, what would be awesome is if Thurl Simon's in your nightmare and he's speaking in a French accent to you like that. Just complete torture.
At least it couldn't be via Twitter because I'm still blocked.
I was going to say, it's probably, I'm sorry I blocked you on the Twitter.
Yeah. He's speaking in a French accent, and you have to guess where he went to college.
Oh, man, that's awful.
But LSU is where he went to college. But I've done my research on my enemies. As far as Sherman is concerned, look, injuries happen. There is the question as to whether or not we'll ever see him again in the Seahawks uniform. I don't know.
Yes, there is.
I don't know whether that we will, and if we don't, it will be a shame. But you know what? Teams evolve, they grow, they move on. At some point we'll be saying goodbye to Pete Carroll. At some point we'll be saying goodbye to a host of other people. We said goodbye to Marshawn Lynch twice, but the point being is that we just have to. It's next man up. That's the role.
Exactly.
That's the way this team plays. So we just have to say that. I don't know who will draft in. I'm assuming we'll get someone in, as we said. Hopefully it's not Thurl Simon or Maxwell. I'll just, is there anyone out there? Anyone else out there?
Marcus Burley.
That'll do.
Marcus Burley. Hey. Yeah, we'll see. Well, listen, we got Coleman, we got Shed.
Well,
can we get rid of Process as well at the same time? Because this is just becoming a running joke that's becoming uncomfortable.
It's becoming a really bad joke.
This time though, that was legit. he got pulled over in a bad way.
Yeah, he's got a bad angle, but blah blah blah.
Yeah. It's his other ankle. It's his other ankle.
Another vaginal discharge.
We had
honestly though, at this point, if they can get away with it, put Procise on IR and bring Mike Davis up from the practice squad.
I agree.
I don't want to cut Procise altogether because we got him for 2 more years.
Do something with him.
Yeah, we need to have guys we can count
toughen
on.
him up.
I forgot all about Mike Davis.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to see Procise come out literally wrapped from head to toe in that sort of tape that they wrap them up in to prevent injury, just coming out completely wrapped in it.
Bubble wrap.
Nice. Yeah.
Didn't we have Jimmy Ward from the Niners? Didn't Jimmy Ward, didn't he have a cup of coffee with the team? Did we sign him?
Don't know.
No, he's still with the Niners.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Sorry.
Man, I can just see Procise coming out like that, man. Like, what are you? Is it Halloween? Are you a mummy? Nope. Just staying safe.
Staying safe.
Always practice safe football.
Well, something that we hope isn't safe, and that is the Posse prediction challenge between the Team 12 and Team Posse. So let's see how those scores went for this game. For the scores, Will and Statsman Mark get 3 points because they said the Cardinals would score 16 points, and they did.
I'm just glad it wasn't a tie.
But Mike Pascal had 20-17. It was 22-16, so Mike gets the point for the closest. Prognostications, over. Nobody got it. Game ball, a point to Matt for Wilson, a point to me for Baldwin, a point to Little Mo Jose and Tom for Wagner. He had 11 tackles. Chancellor was on fire. Dustin gets a point.
Hey.
Over under was under, a point to Jose, Mike, Mark, Ty, Turner, Matt, and Will, meaning the scores for the Cardinals game look like this. Will 4, Statsman Mark 3, Mike, Matt, Jose 2, Moses, Little Mo, Tom, Dustin, Mark, Ty, Turner 1. Overall, Mike Pascal comfortably leading 30 with 30 points. Jose 25. Will leapfrogs the third place with 20.
Woohoo.
Dustin and Moses at 18. Matt at 14. Tom at 13. Statsman Mark 12. Mark Ty Turner 9. Little Mo 8. And after 9 games, the team score is Team 12 85. Team Posse 82.
Ooh,
and
catching back up.
The gap closes. All right. 30 points, guys. We can catch them in the Atlanta game next week. All right. That is the third quarter.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
Coming up next, it's time to look into the magic crystal ball as I give the posse some possible future predictions about the Seahawk team. And they'll tell me if that prediction is going to be truth or crap. They are listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Remind you, for a transcript of our show, please take out a piece of paper and pencil and write down everything we say. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Nobody cares.
Holy shit. It's the fourth quarter.
Ah oui! It is the fourth and final quarter of your special 12-man Fan Jam show. It's time to play a new game called Truth or Crap. The game that finds out more about the future of your Seahawks. I have been taking lessons, and I have a crystal ball here with me. You can't see it, but you just have to trust me. There's one here. And I've been taking lessons from fortune tellers, and I have to go into a little bit of a trance here. And when I do, I will see things from the future, and the posse will tell me whether the statements I see are true or crap. Okay, here we go. Now you have to be quiet, Dustin. I have to concentrate. So keep it back. Keep your vodka down. All right.
No.
All right. Here we go. We gotta get into a trance. Hold on. Okay. I'm concentrating on the ball. And the first question goes to Matt.
Yes.
Matt.
Mystic
statement
Moses.
I see. The Seahawks will win the NFC Western Division. Truth or crap?
True.
True. Okay. Dustin, what do you think?
Can I talk now? Or...
Yeah, you can talk now. I'll talk now.
Way to ruin the mood there, Dustin.
Speak, Dustin.
Sorry. Yeah, I think they're going to win it as well. True.
All right, good. Is that man, Mark?
True.
Will?
True. The Rams are going to stumble.
True! They will win the division. Now I'm going back into my trance. Oh, yes, I see another statement. This statement will go to Matt.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
The statement I see is this. Jimmy Graham will lead the Seahawks in touchdown catches by the end of the season. True or crap?
Oh, can I phone a friend?
It's close. It was close before the game, and I think it's like he's maybe one above Baldwin. It's close.
I'm going to say false.
Crap!
Yeah, crap. Sorry.
You say crap.
Yep.
We think it'll be Baldwin then?
Yep.
Okay. Fair enough. Will?
I will say true because we sure can't run it in when we're in the red zone.
Mark?
Crap.
Crap! Dustin?
True. I'm right there with Will. Running doesn't seem to be an option, but Jimmy Graham has been, so.
Yes! Matt and Mark! You're wrong. It will be true. I have decided. Wait. I'm getting another vision. I'm looking in the crystal ball. It's telling me yet another amazing vision. And this statement will go to Will. Will?
Yes?
Dwight Freeney will lead the Seahawks in sacks by the end of the year. Truth or crap?
Crap. It'll be Michael Bennett.
Ah! That's me, Mark.
Crap.
Crap! Dustin!
Crap.
Crap! Matt!
Crap.
You're all wrong. It's going to be true. The dude's got 3 sacks in 2 games. He's not that far behind. They don't have that many sacks, guys.
He's played 3 games now.
Oh, yeah. But, okay, 3 in 3 games. But I don't know who is the sack leaders. They might know off the top of their head.
It's Bennett right now.
Bennett.
With?
Getting close to 10, I think.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
Pretty close to 10.
Really?
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. I guess it is crap. I have to fix my crystal ball.
I don't even think Freeney will end up second, honestly.
Mystic Moses needs to check his connections.
Well, I have to check my connections here. Mark, are you ready
His
for
Mystic
yours?
Wi-Fi is down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Mark's turn? Mark, is it your turn?
I think so.
Okay, Mark, you ready? I got it. Oh, concentrate! Dustin! Keep it down. This takes concentration. I must go into my trance. I'm looking into my crystal ball. And Mark, the statement I see from the future. Tyler Lockett will have a punt or kickoff return for a touchdown by the end of the season.
Yeah.
What?
That's Spanish for yes.
Oh, okay. I heard E. Yeah, okay. See? So you're saying it's truth?
C. I mean C.
Crystal ball speaks the truth. Will, Tyler Lockett, punt or kickoff return for a touchdown this year?
Crap, unfortunately. He just doesn't look too, as explosive as he used to running back kicks.
I agree.
Matt.
I mean, explosive.
It's crap, I'm afraid. As Will says, I don't think he's got that. I think he's a bit worried about it, but also they seem to be kicking him quite far at the end for him. So, crap.
Dustin?
I think it's true. I think part of it is he's just not seeing the blocks very well, but he'll get that right.
I think it's true. One more. This one's for Dustin.
Hope
Dustin,
you're right.
pay attention. I have to get in my trance.
This is so Raven. Come on.
Oh, this is a big one. This is a big statement coming up here, Dustin. It is this. Dustin, I saw in my crystal ball this statement. Dustin will finish the 5th season of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show as halftime trivia champion. Let me give you an update. As of tonight, we have had 18 halftime trivias this season. Andy, Northern Hawk, not Canadian Hawk. He won one. Okay. Will, tonight, that was your 4th victory of this season. Matt has won 6. And Dustin has won 7.
What?
So, Dustin. Will Dustin finish as 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia champion for this season when all's said and done? And I'm looking at maybe as many as 28 episodes, maybe. I don't know.
So many more shows to do this season.
I know. There's so many more, guys.
Oh, dear.
I know.
I think that's fact. I think that is the closest thing to a fact that you've said the whole time.
Dustin says fact, Matt.
Wow, I hate to disagree with my esteemed colleague, but I think that's crap. I'm good at coming from behind and coming first.
Wow.
Wow, this show just got a little risque. Will?
Crap, my money's on the Brit.
Mark!
You know what? There was a time I didn't believe in our QB because everyone said he was too short. But I believe in Dustin. He is going to take it. My man is going to X and O his way to victory.
Love it.
Have you seen Dustin pirouette? I'm just saying, it's not as classy as Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
It's funny, I did not mention Mark on that list.
Yeah, I was just about to say, until I realized it really would be at my own expense, I thought maybe they won't notice. Now they're going to notice.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, me and again, the spirit of the Brown is here at
Oh yeah, your time will come. I can see them tying, and then you win.
Oh my God, I can't remember. Actually, that would be a great trivia question. When is the last time I won halftime trivia?
It was.
I don't even remember. I can't even give you the answer. No. I would miss my own trivia question. That's how bad it's been.
Oh my God! All right, I think that is to be determined. So we will stop having our trans there. Thank you, gentlemen, for playing Truth or Crap, because it looks like it's time to bring this wonderful and amazing 12-Man Fan Jam show to a sad close. We're so glad you decided to waste some time with us. We certainly hope you laughed a little and maybe you learned a little something along the way. What did we learn this evening? Well, we learned that we were able to create a new Law and Order NFL. Dun, dun, dun. Or no, dun, dun. We learned that injuries can be funny. If you suck, Cleveland will beat you. You're right. We have a fun-sized running back. Matt expects a massive sack. You can run yourself over.
You can.
And
right.
Dustin likes it quick and easy. And finally, we learned that Matt has nightmares about Thorold Simon. So, on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, our New South Shadowhawk Will.
Got the sweats coming on just thinking about it. Just mentioning it.
Like your personal Freddy Krueger.
Breathe,
Dustin
Matt,
as the
breathe.
Beaver, Roger Goodell. Maybe this might be Matt's last show.
You want a balloon?
Daryl Green, Neil Lomax, Sheila McRae, Art Carty. Good night, everybody. Go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Dustin, the hole is there, dude.
Doesn't everybody have nightmares about their old Simon, though?